It's your platform partner. Yes, it's your hustling homie, Dr. Jackson. Addicted to action and making things happen. Yes, it's the underdog of the century and or the decade, should I say. I ain't been around that long. But all right, I want to talk with you about something that's important, and that is how to program yourself for more success. Now, this is a video that you definitely want to tune into because whether you like it or not, you're programmed. We're all programmed. We all are undergoing some type of a spell. Your brain is a computer. Your subconscious mind is how you make all of the decisions you make every single day. Well, hold on. What are you talking about, Jackson? Now, for those who don't know anything about programming or subconscious mind, we're going to go into that at the video. But first, before we go into how to do it, how to program yourself, I want you to understand most people that you see that create certain levels of success, they do it because of one, because of belief, and two, is because of their mindset and their mind state. All right. I want you all to understand that you have at least two different brains that we're going to focus on for this video. You got your conscious mind. This is how most people make their decisions. This is how stuff you could be aware of, right? This is how most people they may know, all right, I know how to make money because I learned it in school, quote unquote, or I know how to lose weight. But most people they might know some information, but they still don't have the results. How many people do you know that are maybe overweight, out of shape, unhappy, but these people they know how to lose weight. They really know. Many of them they know, well, if I do certain amount of exercises, if I eat less, okay, work out more or change my sleeping habits, right? They could lose weight, but most people don't. Is because they have their conscious mind, their subconscious mind. This is the story that they tell themselves, that they believe themselves, really believe about themselves. This is your subconscious. This is what makes you go on autopilot, right? And this controls your life and controls what you do every single day. This is what controls your habits, right? This is why when you see certain people, you automatically are going to stereotype them, even if you don't want to stereotype them. You just do it automatically, like it's a habit, because you've seen images and things in your mind that have programmed you to believe that stereotype is true. So belief is very, very powerful. So if you want to change your life, you got to go and change the program that you're running on. You got to change your mindset on a deep level. Think of it like a computer, right? Your mind is a computer. You got to really change the software. You got to do updates on that software because there's constantly a program and a spell that's being put on you every single day, whether you like it or not. Because the way that the brain works, it's always recording. It's always recording. And even if you don't agree with the stuff that you see, it's still recording it in the back of your brain, right? So you may look at a movie and you see a movie and you see a bunch of violence in the movie and you may think to yourself, well, you know what? I know this is not real. This is just the movie. Like you know in your mind that it's not real consciously. Consciously, you know, you're aware of it. It's just a movie. However, it still impacts you the way that you move around if you watch that enough, because it's deep down in the subconscious of your mind. So this is why you maybe walk outside and you may find yourself you see certain people that look like somebody was in a movie, and automatically you may get scared or get excited. Where did that come from? Right? It didn't come from your conscious mind. It came from your subconscious. So how can you reprogram that? So I want you to understand that people attack your mind is being programmed in at least three different ways. I want you to understand that. One way is being programmed. The most powerful way that a lot of people don't know is being programmed through things that you see. The thing is physically. There's physical program. Now the physical program is going to be is what you see, but it's also going to be things that you even in your environment, right? This will be things that are people that are around you, food that you eat. So, for example, you can eat certain food enough. Let's say if you're eating a lot of beef, right? That beef and that food, that animal had a certain energy that animal had. And if you're eating that, whether you agree with it or not, that animal's those cells in that animal, when you eat it now, it's becoming a part of your body. It's beginning to go it affect you on a cellular level. It affects your blood cells. Then it begins to affect your brain. So you got to be very careful that this is why people say when they change their diets over a long period of time, it'll change their mindset, what they're able to receive, what they're able to do, right? Not just their mindset, but it checks, in fact, everything from the ideas that you get, the energy that you have, right? Because it's going to affect your entire 360, right? So I want you to understand that it affects your entire body. So second, I want you to understand outside of the food that you eat, that's programming you. So you want to be conscious of the food that you eat. This is why it's important to either pray on your food or to bless your food or to even do a detox. This is why when people fast, fasting mean they don't eat for a certain period of time, whether it be 16 hours a day or a week. When they fast, this is why they get spiritual revelations. Because now when you're fasting, what happens is you getting rid of a lot of those other programs that were in your body, that food, that energy, that spirit that came from whatever, that sugar or those other influences, those parasites that was in your body. Now you're cleansing your vessel. Now you're able to receive more. All right, because you have a cleansed spirit. So that's why detoxing and stuff is important. So one, if you want to reprogram yourself, it's important that you do some type of fasting or some sort of detox, and also use water by drinking a lot of water and flushing your system out, because water is receptive, it receives energy, and that more water that you put in you is going to affect the way that you program, the way that you receive stuff, and the way that you influence stuff. Now, second is your brain. All right, just in general, meaning your brain, like the media, right? Media is programming you. This is the content that you're absorbing. That's what you're also eating. Now, the content that you eat, this is everything from the music that you listen to the movies that you watch, to the books that you read or don't read. All of that stuff is going to have an impact on your brain. So this is very important. This is very important. Is that the media that you're reading? So this is why you want to balance that stuff out. It's nothing wrong if you watch stuff that's or low vibration, or like, you know how they got junk food, you may watch junk content. It's nothing wrong for watching junk content every now and then, right? Because you want to still have fun. Everybody wants to escape the reality every now and then and fantasize. That's normal, but you got to balance it out. Balance it out means if you just got through eating some junk content, now you need to get some healthy content. That means watch something that's positive, motivational, something that's going to encourage you, or something that's going to spark your inner dynamite and encourage you to maybe look within yourself to find answers and solutions, to believe in yourself, to move forward, and not just going to keep you stagnant and afraid. So something that's going to almost shock your system, because whatever you've been thinking and believing, you didn't always think that way, right? You learned it through a series of programs. So if you want to change that program, you got to almost look at content that's the total opposite. If you think everybody in life are you can't trust anybody, if you was raised to think never trust anybody, now you need to watch some content that says that why you should trust people, because you always want to challenge your own ideas and beliefs. This is how you reprogram yourself, because all of this stuff is an illusion. So sometimes you got to tell yourself a different story by programming yourself to a different situation, because none is no good, bad, right, or wrong. It's just situations and what you're supposed to do in that situation. So you got to determine that for yourself. So the content that you watch, you got to switch it up by that. Okay. So detox your content. That's the second way you can program yourself. Now, the third way, this is the more traditional route. And this is you being active, what the conversation that you're having with yourself. The most important conversation that you have is the conversation with you. And we're all doing that every day. We all are talking to ourselves. And we either negatively talking to ourselves, telling us what we can't do. We're telling ourselves a story about the past. And this is usually your biggest enemy, because your brain knows all of your weaknesses, it knows your flaws, and your brain is designed to protect you. So it wants to keep you in that comfort zone. So your brain is going to tell you to stay comfortable, don't take risks, and even when you hear some good information, your brain is naturally may fight it because it's different. And your brain wants to hold on to what's worked in the past. And so this is where you got to fight against your own brain. This is why I say you want to work on the physical things like your body and the food and the media, because when you do that, now it's going to be a little easier to control your brain once you kind of begin to control the body. So you can do it either or. You can start with the brain first and then go to the body, or you can start with the body first and then go with the brain. It just depends on you. Like me as Capricorn, it's easy for me to do them simultaneously. Like if my brain is steady, I'm not having issues with self discipline, I start with my body. I start exercising, I start detoxing, and then it becomes easier for me off that small victory to now be able to program myself mentally in different ways. All right. So, but again, it's about you programming yourself with affirmations, incantations, whatever fuck you want to call it. At the end of the day, is you activating yourself, you knowing how to talk to yourself and have a conversation where you empower yourself. Because I want you guys to understand this, that Like you have a choice. Everybody's going to be giving you information and telling you stuff. When you got to realize any information and advice people give you, that is not necessarily ever absolutely true. Your job is you could listen to it, interpret it, see if it works for you, but never be that person that tries to hold on to other people's reality and think that that's the absolute truth and that's how you got to live your life. Everybody has a different perspective. So your goal is to develop your own perspective by you having your own experiences, and you can listen to other people, but you got to filter out what works and what doesn't. You can't try to live your life exactly based on what your parents taught you, what your religion taught you, what your community taught you. You got to understand that that stuff is good, right? I ain't saying go against it, but you got to know that none of this shit is absolutely true. So you got to find the truth within yourself by looking within, finding that space inside of you, and also just going through experiences and letting go of your past and the story that you tell yourself. Because whatever you telling yourself is never the absolute truth. Okay, it's that's why you got to always even challenge your own thoughts sometimes and just continue to move forward and really resonate within your spirit. So if you want to really reprogram yourself, that's the order. Those three things you want to focus on. Focus on that body. You know what I'm saying? What are you are you physically activating yourself? By moving around, running around, exercising, detoxing yourself with the food that you're eating, having some type of better diet. I'm telling you, that helps out a lot with what you're feeding in your body and your cells, and making sure that those spirits and those blood cells in your body are getting what they need, because your body is alive. There's your body is a universe. There's things that are inside of you that are spirits that are living in you, that are moving through you all the time. And so even with, like I said, with that food that you eat certain food, you got parasites that are in you, and those parasites can now manipulate you. This is why people can get addicted to sugar, and their behavior is going to be different, right, than the person that is not addicted to, like, that same person, but you get them off the sugar, they're going to behave different because now their brain is different, right? They function different. You got a clean, pure vessel. So it's the food. Change that, switch that up every from time to time. If you got to fast once a month, once a week, however you want to do it, what works for you, with detoxes, etc. Two, like I said, it is going to be the way, it is the media that you're eating. What are you consuming in your mind? What are you reading, watching, hearing? Those things are very important, that you challenge your own thoughts, and sometimes look at the opposite, and always keep your mind open, because you're always going to be a student. And it ain't, again, you don't need to know everything, because some stuff is going to be counterproductive. So I ain't saying try to learn everything in the world, but you do want to keep an open mind and not be stuck and stagnant, because your spirit wants to be able to see and experience different things and learn something new. And a lot of times you're going to do that, but you may be scared when you do it. So you want to have some courage when you do it, and some boldness when you do it, right? This is when you in your God-like state, because God likes new experiences. And sometimes when you are even afraid, that's a good thing a lot of times, because being afraid, it forces you to sometimes stop thinking about your past and just focus on what's going on in the moment. And now you can be very naturally creative in that moment. And now this is like being in a godlike space, because now you're truly just focused on right now. There's no future, there's no past. It's just this present moment, and how can I be creative in this moment? And so sometimes being bold when you're in a fearful situation could be a great thing, because it's just a new experience, so you can expand your spirit. All right. And lastly, like I said, it's about that conversation that you're having with yourself. You got to know how to sometimes be quiet, silence yourself, and then have that conversation with you. Because when you're talking with you, you're talking with the universe. So I want to encourage you to have these conversations with yourself, every day, right? And hey, program yourself for success. All right. And you got to be conscious and aware in that order. So, make sure y'all get this book. So we got the whole book series. This is just one of the books. Y'all know the whole series. Links in the description. Shut Up and Hustle, in that order. This is one of the best books if you want to grow, in terms of self-awareness, overcome self-sabotage, and then be able to, help your community on a consistent level. So, hey, like I said, I am Jackson, your hustling homie. Hey, make sure y'all tune in, subscribe to the page, click on notifications.